International Academy of Ethics, its organizers. I don't have any prepared lecture. Generally, chief guest just say a few words, goody goodies, and it's over. I understand from various deliberations till now that we are worried about the future of humanity, future of man versus man relation, man and versus society relations, and man and nature relations. I think somewhere it's our species being human beings who are themselves in crisis and putting the entire planet into crisis. And then we are discussing what's happening all over. So if we put certain checks and balances on our own way of living, thinking, and change our parameters, perhaps life could be much, much better, pleasant, wholesome, engaged living, and a enjoyable living. But all our autonomy, all our actions, that has to be autonomous actions out of a free will, that's not our under control. It seems as if we are free, but I feel somewhere some invisible hand is snatching our liberties and free thinking, free action. Uh, I have an advantage of my age. I have lived various phases of life. A totally life of a tribe who are very close to land, where there's no radio, TV, motorcycle, car, nothing except cattle, soil, agriculture, and nature around you. That's my childhood. And over the last, now I'm 71, and over the last 50 years, especially, one after the other, there are shocks to that delicate balance amongst us as well as humanity and nature. And we have worked hard to break that very delicate relation, and we are still doing so. We often quote that Gandhiji said that even before that, I mean Buddha, everybody said that nature can meet your needs, not greed. So ethics, the most important need of the hour is that though we can reach out to moon, Mars, whatever, it's our hiss of our ego that we can do anything on this earth, not realizing that we are very powerless, small pygmy in front of vast nature and very powerful nature. So why don't we understand our limitations instead of always asserting our ruthlessness? So my personal way of living, which I can share, which could be more as a morality rather than ethics. But since I'm a teacher of sociology, I know that in this type of a world which is very insecure, which is very uncertain, which is very unpredictable, what will happen tomorrow? Uh, then it's better to just create a space, small, own space where you can feel free within the prison also. That sort of a prison when you feel imprisoned. So that's what morality is all about. But our question is that if my neighbor is not happy, know yourself and then your neighbor. That's in Christianity. So if my neighbor is not happy, if my society is not good, how can I be that morality can work? It's lost. I will be frustrated. So my personal way of living, if I share with you, that really is that try to shun your so much of baggage which we unnecessarily are loaded with. Actually, there's no need of many things. The more you simple, more you play closer to the nature, more you closer to the earth. So that snap between or snap or gap between what nature expects out of us and what we as social being, cultural being, political being, bulldoze everything, try to bulldoze everything, is I think is really a challenge of the time. And what I was trying to say is personally, if I don't understand, there's some puzzling question, which is a very difficult question, where I feel I'm helpless, and my immediate masters, yani master key that will solve that problem is my pet dog. Not philosophers, not mandir, masjid, gurdwara. That how is happy all the time? Because very simple state, just like any bird, just like any other nature, flower, he's part of nature. And we are against nature. Culture is by definition against nature because it's cultivated. So somewhere in the name of our greatness, great empires, great countries, great technology, and now artificial intelligence. What hell if it will play with us? I don't know. That if we have natural intelligence, what's wrong with it? Why to have artificial? All massive attack on our autonomy, our thinking, on our creativity. We will understand later on. We will just reduce to a cabbage. We are already, in fact, we are passive receiver of things, whether it's ideas or it is a food or anything. So I think the question, the life by definition is engagement, involvement, and living a rich life, doing small things. Don't have to do big things. In nature don't demand much from you. It demands very small things. How to cook, how to keep your place clean, how to sleep in time, how to get up in time, how to keep your physical health fit, and eat. That's all. Not much thing you have to do. And in the name of modernity, in the name of competition, in the name of what we say that imitation, what will happen? I mean, you are under pressure always from one sort or the other, from media, from your neighborhood, from all those things. Unless we somewhere start challenging and coming back to the roots, we cannot live a life which is involved, a life which is rich, a life which is actually experience, not meeting targets. Because life without experience, there is no life. If you are doing same thing every day, that's not life. You have lived or not lived, it's the same thing. Doing same thing every day. So I think ethics have important role to play. But who decides ethics? Is it our collective will? Is it our collective efforts? Or it is somewhere institutions of power, whether it's a political power, it's the economic power, it is a cultural power, or it is even a religious power. Who decides for us? The worst thing is that in a balanced type of a system, whether it is a democracy or it was a medieval system or it is a modern, even pre-medieval tribal system, there were always checks and balance that were keeping somewhere, things in a harmony. But the way things are going now, the very sources, whether they were institutions or they were individual or there were certain pressure groups or intellectuals, they do everything is becoming what Habermas said, you one-dimensional, unidimensional. If if religion, you are telling somewhere that if that has to be source of our ethics, the religion itself needs certain ethics now, some dose of ethics from outside. It's more of a business rather than a religion. So the moment anything that take a institutional form and become a routinized activity, it it departs very easily and it becomes far removed from the original idea from where it has started, whether it's a Christianity or Sikhism. Sikhism not a religion. I by birth I am a Sikh, but it was always a movement for change. It was a method, it was a technique, it was a thought, it was a falsafa, philosophy. It's not a religion. Had it been a by definition religion, how can it invite other religions to participate in their religion at par with no conflict? You can have a namaz in Harmandir Sahib. So, is there any religion that allows other religion? No. And that has to be by definition exclusivity. So that's why this religion, we are very recent one, but this very revolutionary movement, ethical movement, and very relevant to the Indian society, where there's no space for caste, there's no space for inter-religious rivalry, and also respect for women. That is written in their holy book. But where is it in practice? No, nowhere. So what I am saying that such a recent religion can be so far removed and going its own against original ethics for which it was founded. But you can very well think about the other older religion, how far they must have been removed from their original spirit. So these are the problems. I think what in this sort of, I may sound a little pessimistic that if world is that somewhere far removed from that original relation between man and nature and man and society rather, how to put it back into place. We people all wish that sitting here and work for that, think for that, write for that, express in the form of poetry, literature, everything. But the mainstream, the dominant current, which repudiates us, that belittle us, that's much, since that's much stronger, like a typhoon in the sea, and small fish, they are nowhere, small fry. It's like that. But this does not mean that we should stop our efforts. At the same time, I always feel, howsoever artificial pressure from above of hegemonic ideas of various, whether it's a corporate culture or what we these days talk of this democratic crisis, crisis of democracy and polity, or many other things which we talk of privately or even publicly. I think, oh, in spite of all those pressures and hegemonic culture ideas, there's always a space coming back to basics. After all, howsoever great we are, howsoever big philosopher we claim to be, howsoever powerful we claim to be, after all, we have our limitations. After all, we are just like any other animal also. Why do we forget? We are not different than them. Other species, we are only different because we are cultural beings that we have created for ourselves, and we are victim of that now. We are imprisoned by that now. So I think ordinary people who live life, daily routine life, by work, by doing labor or any sort of work, they are more closer to reality, and our puzzles, our anxieties, our uncertainties actually are addressed at that place. They have no such problem, the problem which we have. They know if we work today, evening they will have food. If we don't work, they will die of hunger. But they won't cry like us, but they will face even that also. So if we shift our thinking to those people who are bearer of the burden of this all edifice which we have created for ourselves, and now we are feeling the heat of it, we are feeling the burden of it which we are carrying. I think there lies the answer. Those people who are still closer to Mother Earth, Mother Nature, live day to day life, take their company, mobilize them, go to them, learn instead of teaching them, learn from them, let us learn from them. How do they live? And if we come to the basics again, we can really reassert our and redeem our lost roots, ideas, and simplicity, which is a need of the hour. And once we live by our work, by our limitations, we draw our limitations, we live within those justified needs, I think there's no problem still. So I think instead of running around, fighting is one thing, but the hegemonic at the level of ideas, at the level of power structure, at the level of institutional dominance, the only way is to just going to the roots, going back to the ordinary people, mobilizing en masse and telling them, here we are, it is our earth, it is our nature, it's our society, give us our fair share, that's all. I think if we reassert from below, from the ground, really it can work. That's the only way to me at the end of it seems to me that that can save our whatsoever little beauty and livable life over earth is left so far. Thank you very much.